Hello, this is my contribution to February's prompt using Gimp. We're going to be doing some art shapes, so let's begin. What I really want to do is set up a new page, and we'll do that and we'll create a 600 by 600 size page. That's pixels. Once you've set all that up, you can then go to OK. We now want to bring an image in, so let's go to File at the top and open File as Layer. There it is. When the file box opens, you'll need to find wherever you've put the particular file. I've made a file for you that will be in the bottom of the video. It may have this on it, but just convert it and it will bring up the picture. Now click on the fuzzy tool here. This will help us create a mask, and we're going to create a mask in this area that I'm pointing to. Making sure that we're on the correct layer, we're going to add alpha channel. Click the delete button. You'll see a change in the layers panel. What it's done is remove the background from the heart shape. Go to select and then none to remove the mask around the heart shape. We'll now change the colour of the heart. We'll go to this fill bucket tool and then click on a colour box there and move it to the appropriate colour. We'll then click on the heart itself and it will change colour. Now we want to go to filters. We're looking for blur and Gaussian blur. This will give a softness to the outer edge, and I'm making adjustments. You make the adjustments you want to make, and then once you're happy with the particular settings, then click the OK button. In the layers panel, click on the opacity section to make it more transparent. Next, click select and then none to remove the mask around the heart. In the layers panel, click on duplicate, and we're going to do that 3 times. We've created 3 arts now. Now use the move tool to separate and move each individual art away from each other by clicking on the layer and then moving it. You've got 3 separated individual ones now. Click the rotate tool in the toolbox and then click on the arts and move them around to your personal taste. Just rotate and maneuver these things how you think you want your work to go. When you click on one of the hearts, you will find that there's a little anchor bar that will help you rotate it. Go into the scale tool. You can alter the size of individual arts, make them larger or smaller, and again this is down to your personal taste. Keep clicking between the different arts, sizing them and rotating them until you get a configuration that you like, moving them around as well. We're going to alter the colour of the arts now, so we go to colours, and once we're in colours we go to hue saturation, and you can, as you can see, you can slide it up and down and make it whatever colour you want it. It doesn't have to be pink, but that's this month's theme, so we're going for some nice pinks. OK that when you're happy, and then move on to the next art by clicking on the layer and doing exactly the same as we've just done. That's colours, hue saturation, and then tweaking the dial, and then OK. When you're happy with the colours that you've got, you go to the top layer, right click on that, and it's merged down. That will merge it with the layer below it, and do exactly the same with that next layer, merge down by right clicking. And we're nearly done with that section. I'll right click and duplicate that layer and duplicate it again, so we've got 3 lots of that layer. Then go to the move tool and move the layers around like we did earlier, so that they're in a position that you like. Go to the layers and then click on that and move the layer again. I actually moved the background on this, I apologise. And click on the right layer and then move it, I think. And we're just doing what we did earlier, moving into a different position, and then we can make adjustments such as what I've just done here, the scale, and you can rotate them and move them back in, and you're starting to build up several layers now, and that's really how you do it. I'm showing you here the opacity. You can click on it and pull it up and down and make it more or less transparent. Once you have it in a position that you like, then what you need to do is what we did earlier and start merging it down by right clicking, merge down, and that will again take it down to the next level, and then merge down again. So you've just got that one, and at this point I duplicate it again. So these are all right click things, and I'm just building layer after layer after layer with this. So I'll speed the process up, and you can do this how you want. Just remember that while you're doing all these different layers and building up layers, you can always scale them, you can always recolour them in a different colour if you want, you can move them, you can rotate them, and really build up a kind of image that you want. And another thing to look at is on the layer palette there's a opacity setting, and each layer can be set in a different opacity. I'm now looking at altering the colours in this by the hue saturation system that I showed you earlier. So that is really it for the process, and we're getting close to the end of it now. All we're really doing now is continuing that process of adapting and altering the various different layers and merging them down and changing the opacity and rotating and scaling the different hearts so that we get a final pleasing piece of work. It's time to start merging the final image down. So we're right clicking again and we're merging down, right down to the very last layer. And we can also, in the opacity, take the transparency down a little bit, which is what I'm doing there. So I'm happy with everything there. I'm just going to merge that down to the background layer, and it's time to start thinking about exporting it as a file. So that's what we're doing here. We give it a name and make sure it's a JPEG with the JPEG file type, which is at the bottom. It tells you what that is, and once you've written a name in and placed it in the position that you want it to place it in, you're good to go, really. And then it's just a matter of exporting. Make sure you're on the JPEG file type and then click export, and a little box will come up, and that's your how much compression there will be, and it tells you how big the file will be, and you click and there you go. That's your image. You can use this as a background. I'm doing a square one, but you can make it all sorts of different shapes. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.